Cyberpunk in a Car live chat. I'm JonJonTheWise. Thank you all for joining me. Thank you for watching on the VODs if you are. I am in an undisclosed location in a vehicle ready to talk about Cyberpunk with the community. I hope you guys had a wonderful week. It's good to be back. Before we get deep into it, make sure you guys join the Discord community. The link will be in the description below. Discord community of Cyberpunk fans just like you. Make sure you guys join the Patreon, patreon.com/JonJonTheWise to show your support and to get some cool exclusive content. Data warning, you've used 2 gigs of data. Please, dude. Please. I got that unlimited. I don't know why my phone tells me anyway. Where were we? I did the Patreon. Tabletop Cyberpunk is my podcast. Make sure you guys check that out too, where I talk more about Cyberpunk. I mean, how much more can I talk about Cyberpunk, right? And JonJonTheWise on all social media on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. You know the drill, ladies and gentlemen. All right, guys. Thank you so much for everything, all the support, all the love, all the kind words. Thank you so much to my patrons for all the support as well. I really appreciate you guys. And here we are on a beautiful Tuesday morning, a little bit groggy out here in Los Angeles. The sky looks like it's about to pour some water down. But no, it is not. And we are good. We are good to go. I don't think so. Shouldn't rain. I hope not. Yeah. So, what's new with me? I've been painting 40K. Been doing that. I've been doing some writing. I've been doing a lot of actually. I got some like Fiverr. I don't know if you guys heard of Fiverr.com. I'm sure you have. It's a website where you can like get graphic. You can get like freelance people to do stuff for you. And I'm working on all my Wise Guy campaign stuff. I've been putting it all together, like graphics, overlays, voiceovers. Yep, I'm doing voiceovers too. I hired the guy to do it. And I'm gonna have like a cool like intro too. Taylor from the Con Save is gonna help me out with that. So I'm getting all those assets put together so I can get that Wise Guys campaign going out. And yeah, and now I gotta just put my nose to the grindstone and start writing. For you, it was the single most defining moment of your life. For me, it was Tuesday. Raul Julia, rest in peace. What's up, Nihilus? How you doing? Yeah, so that's the idea. The Wise Guys campaign will be in full swing, hopefully next month. What else? What else? What else? That's it for the Wise Guys. I got my Patreon game this Thursday. We are continuing the story. Nihilus, you know all about that as you are a part of it. Doing well, thank you. Having a great time. Yesterday was just all kinds of crazy. I couldn't do this live chat because I was doing all kinds of running around. But we're here. We're here now. And let's do it. You know what? I should probably put the shit on mute. Yeah, there we go. So you don't have to hear all that stuff. Yeah, so that's it. Um, I'm trying to think what else. Oh, I got my next video that I'll be doing is a Patreon exclusive video. It's going to be the last video of the series on building an epic Cyberpunk Red campaign. It's going to be based on how I plan my sessions. So the way I figured it is if you watch it from beginning to end of the series, then you'll know how to start and go on making your campaign and doing it in perpetuity. So you won't need my help after that. I mean, you won't need my help building it. Like it's all up to you from there. But basically, I'm going to be showing exactly how I plan each session. And then after that, I will be releasing the whole series out to the public little by little. Episode 2 will go out, then a little bit later, episode 3. And in that meantime, for those of you that are curious and want to be patrons, I'll be doing a series on virtual tabletops for Foundry mostly. I might dabble a little bit in Roll20 because I understand people use Roll20 as well. But I'll be showing you guys how I do my virtual tabletop, Cyberpunk stuff, how I put the battle maps together, how I do all that kind of stuff. So if you guys are into the virtual tabletop scene or you want to get into it and you don't know what to do, my Patreon will have an exclusive series just for that. I think my first, just like I did with the other one, the first episode will be free for public, but then after that, you'll have to be part of the Patreon to get exclusive access to the series until it's done, and then that's going to go out to the public as well. So there's that. And what else? That's the Patreon stuff. I got so many things that I want to do. I've been working with this graphic designer guy, hopefully putting my Amber Oasis setting into a world book into the in the future and stuff like that. Yes, please, so I can stop bugging you about Foundry settings. There's no problem. You can bug me about stuff. It's not bugging me at all. I got into this to help the community. So if I have time, I'll definitely do it. You know, sometimes I don't have time to respond right away, or I can't get to it, or it's a question that I've answered a million times and there's like a bunch of videos out for it. For those, I don't ignore it, but I'll say like, hey, check out this video and stuff like that. But I can't get to it right away. But if it's other stuff that like is new and is something that the community wants to know about, I'd be more than happy. I realize that this is the one thing that I'm kind of an expert in is Cyberpunk, and it's because I've just made it my thing. I made it my priority to read the books, to play the games, to homebrew, to write and make videos. And it's kind of made me like an expert in it, especially to some people's eyes. But I'm far from an expert in my own eyes. I feel like there's so much more I could learn, and there's so many things that there's like rules that I completely were like I was like, oh shit, I totally didn't even know this was a rule. I've been doing it wrong the whole time. That shit happens to me like every week. So yeah. So if you think there's so much to learn, there is, because I learn a lot as well. I'm over here be learning. Um, that's it for what's coming up with the channel. Other than that, I've been having a really good time just listening to podcasts, watching. There isn't a lot of cyberpunk content out there, unfortunately. I think there's only like a couple channels, me being one of them, that actually focuses on cyberpunk. And it's kind of a bummer because I love watching other people's stuff, and I love devouring things like 40K Warhammer 40K channels. I'm all over it. I'm all over their podcasts. And as a fan, I like devouring that kind of content. And I'm also a fan of Cyberpunk, so it would be nice if some of you out there just get started. I want to see your shit. I want to watch videos and not just actual plays, but just like videos of concepts and stuff like that. I guess I could talk about cyberpunk philosophy a lot. Steven Odison, what's up, dude? Good morning from New Mexico. Good morning to yourself. I feel like I missed a lot. Been in the mountains tracking elk for the last week. Holy shit. How was GaryCon this year with COVID? It was virtual, so it wasn't in person. It was great. I got to hang out with some of my favorite people talking about my favorite game. So it was awesome. I was actually saying in my podcast that I'm kind of not glad the pandemic happened, but like silver lining for the pandemic is we got more of this like virtual convention stuff. And I can't really make it out to all these other conventions. I can't like get on a plane and fly to Indiana just for stuff like that. But I can be at my dad's house while my son is screaming in the next room and do a live chat with people. So that's fun. But yeah, it was great. It was awesome. I love it. And tracking elk sounds fucking awesome, man. Did you get any? Did you get elk or no game today or that day? And holy shit, how good is elk? Question regarding your videos: how much of your stuff is scripted, or do you just do outline and go off the cuff? It's all outline. I don't script. I in my outline I write complete sentences sometimes. Most of the time I write complete sentences because they're my thoughts and I want to put it on paper. But when I make my videos, I have like the outline on a. I have they're my notes. So like the process is, I have an idea, then I do some reading and research if I need to, which most of the time I do. Then I make my outline and I type it out, and I have to do everything from like beginning to end of the video. I have to outline everything that I'm gonna say because when I get there and I turn on the camera, I usually forget everything. I'm like, what was I gonna say? What was I gonna talk about? And the outline is there to give me the structure I need so I can riff. And basically, that's how I do my sessions as well. That's like how I plan my Cyberpunk Red sessions. Is I have like an outline for everything, and if and then I go with that outline and I do like specific things with it. But yeah, that's what I do for my videos. I get an outline of the things that I want to say, how I want to say it, and I have it on the side screen, and I'll read a sentence of something, and then that'll inspire me to just like talk and ramble on and on and on. And usually that's enough. We need to line the ceiling of the car with some neon. What's up, Jay Gray? How you doing, buddy? I know, right? Just get some neon lights up here. This isn't my car actually. This is like a car for work, so but who cares, you know? I got to make it my own. Um but yeah, basically the outline is there. I read it and that's how I go off the cuff. Like I'll write I you know what? I'd be down to like share some of that stuff with the community just to show you guys how I do things, but I don't even know if people are really interested in that. But yeah, basically I need some I need a script or an outline or else I can't really do my videos really well. And you get kind of like, you know, the lights are on, the cameras on you, you forget about what you're going to talk about. If I'm being like interviewed, I can talk, no problem. People ask me questions, I can answer questions. But if I actually have something to say, I need to like put my thoughts down on paper because I forget them. And then also I ramble like crazy, dude. I'll There's so much of the videos that have been edited out because I say things that are unnecessary. What's up, Twiggy? Good to see you. But yeah, there's parts of the videos that I just while I'm typing and I'll type out my outline and then I'll just like ramble about a subject. And then when I go to editing, I'm like, okay, I'm bored myself just watching this. Like I need to take all this bullshit out. I'm saying too many things and all that. I was ordering lunch. Ooh. What did you get? Lunch sounds good. What's up, Neko? Hey, is it? By the way, I've been saying Neko, but I don't know if it's Nico, 1971. And is that your birth year? That's awesome. So yeah, welcome everybody. Thank you. That's how I do my videos. And also with my videos, I always have to have something to say. I don't like making videos for the sake of making videos. Pepperoni and bacon calzone with 10 boneless hot wings with the Coke. Solid. Solid. With some ranch maybe or blue cheese for that for the dipping sauce. Solid. Yeah, but I've seen a lot of channels out there sprinkle with synth coke. I've seen a lot of channels out there that are not just cyberpunk but like D&D, especially D&D and even Warhammer and stuff like that where they just make videos for the sake of making videos, and I guess I could do that. I guess every day. It is Neko. Okay, Chris Anderson. Gotcha. That's what Neko in Japanese means cat. Cool. Um, but yeah, 1971. Yep, also old. No worries, man. We're all old. I think we have a high demographic of oldies. But it's cool. Quick side story. I was in I was at a restaurant and I had a Star Wars shirt on. I was waiting for like my food for takeout and some dude that was like my dad's age was like, "Hey, nice shirt. I love Star Wars." And I'm like, "Yeah, me too." And he's like, "Yeah, it's my favorite." And then we started talking about Star Wars, and I realized like, you know, that's the kind of world that I love to be in, the hobby world. And it's a world where like me and a 40-year-old and a 50-year-old and an 18-year-old, we can all connect on this one thing that we really like, which has a degree of immaturity to it. You know, we're kind of we're we're I don't immaturity sounds bad, but really that's what it is. It's just I thought that guy was about to crash into me. It's not like immature as in like we need to grow up. It's just like we're having fun, you know, we're indulging, and there's a degree of that that just carries on throughout our life, and it never goes away. and it's always going to be fun to paint Warhammer models. It's always going to be fun to play board games. It's always going to be fun to get with your buddies and roll some dice. And that's actually really cool to me because that means that the thing that I like or I love in Cyberpunk and role playing games and stuff like that, that stuff is just not going to go away. It's only going to get better and it's only going to get stronger. And I'm only going to do more of it. And seeing all these groups of people doing like 25-year-old games, I'm like, yeah, dude, that sounds awesome to me. It's awesome to be a fan of something that will never go away. You know, there's things that are fleeting, they come and go of things that we like, but something that to be a hobby to be in that'll never go away is actually pretty cool to me. I like it. Uh, Haha, had an older guy come up to me talk about my Robotech shirt. Yeah, see, I that's the other thing is I wear like funny shirts. You guys have seen it on my channel. I wear like funny shirts, but then I this is my like here. Let me show you guys. This is my face in public. Okay, this is my face in public, and then I have like a funny shirt. You know, like it'll say corn flakes, but corn is like corn, the god, the chaos god, and I'm just like this, and I have a cornflake shirt, and I'm not mad. This is just my face. This is like my resting bitch face, as they say. So then people will look at me because they like my shirt and they want to say something, but then my face tells them like, "Hey, don't talk to me." So like, and then I realize it sometimes, and I'm like, "Why is that guy looking at me?" And then I go, "Oh yeah, because I have a fucking intention-seeking shirt on that's like, hey, look at me in my funny shirt." So that's a funny little juxtaposition in life. I like the content you make. You actually put a lot of thought and work into your videos. I see a lot of other YouTubers that just pump out daily videos that they don't care about, and it's apparent your videos are focused about stuff you care about and the community cares about. It's fun. I appreciate it, Twiggy. I really appreciate you saying that. Yeah, that's basically it. Like, I don't make a video unless I really care about it or I have something to say or I feel like it's helpful. And even though sometimes they're not always going to be good, but at least they're all videos that have a purpose in my mind. If you look at my channel, every video has a purpose. It wasn't made for no like it wasn't like a top 10 video or top 5 or you know, it wasn't a video that's obviously there just to pump out views or whatever. And you know, I'm not talking shit about other YouTube channels that do that because I know some of them that are big and they have a team of people and they're kind of forced to make those kinds of videos because they have to keep making content. That revenue stream of money that's coming in is supplying um, jobs for people. So if they want to, once you have employees, you realize like, oh my god, I got to give them work. Like I can't just call them and say, hey, I have work now, and then tomorrow I don't have work. They need steady jobs, and if I'm giving them steady work, I can't all of a sudden not give them steady work. It's like this anxiety and the stress that hits you. So those channels that like pump out content like that, they have a team behind them. They have people making their graphics, editing their videos, and stuff like that, and they have to supply work for them. You know, so I don't fault them for doing those videos. I just don't. I don't want to be in that position. I don't want to put myself in that position where I'm doing that. I don't have any employees. I hire out people like independent contractors for doing stuff. It's all for fun. There's no like the profit margin is like negative. You know, I'm not making money, crazy amounts of money. It's all just like crowdsourced stuff like that. So everything that I do is for fun. But like I said, those bigger channels that actually do make a profit and they're doing it as their job, that's why they make videos like that is because they have to, you know, they have to keep churning the content. They're supplying work for people. Maxfield Calloway says, "Hi John, how do you make combat faster?" I use the three goon method in one of my videos. You can check it out in my channel. I use the three goon method to make combat faster. It's super fast. It's super easy. If it's still slow, I'll use a method called the tally method, where if a bad guy takes 3 big hits, I don't even do calculations. It's like he got 20 points of damage. 12 points of damage and 30 points of damage, he's dead. I don't care how much HP he has or whatever his armor is, he's dead. Move on to the next bad guy. I do that if I'm doing like a convention game. If you're doing it on a virtual tabletop, it does a lot of the speed for you. You don't have to worry about it. It does all the calculations and stuff like that. If you're doing it in person with dice, make sure that whenever you're rolling to hit, that you also roll your damage dice with it. So I roll, if I have a 4d6 weapon, I roll 1d10 and 4d6 all at the same time. So in case it hits, there's the damage right there. I don't have to worry about re-rolling and calculating and stuff like that. So that's one of my tips. I'm glad GaryCon worked out for the best and no elk this time, just tracking, making sure they're healthy, but nothing better than an elk burger and steaks. I wish, man, I want to try it so bad. I heard they're so good. And I had no idea that you can't actually you can't buy wild game. You have to like actually hunt it or know somebody that has hunted it and take it from them, or they give it to you, I mean. So that was like news to me. I didn't know that. So there's a whole like meat out there that I've never tried. When do we get the video on cyber beards? That's a good old Ranger Paul face. Cyber beards. You're right. I should. That should be definitely one of my videos, Jay Gray. I should definitely be adding cyber beards into my repertoire. Big iron on your hip. More like when do we convince John to get a cyber beard? Tech beard, tech. Yeah, tech hair isn't just for the top of your head, dude. That would be really cool. I wonder if it's possible to do that. Put some neon lights and stuff like that. I'm down to put some like ornaments and stuff for Christmas. I'm sure my kid will have a blast with that. We'll do something. Maybe braid it. Will we ever get a Cyberpunk video about food? That is one tasty burger. Yeah, there's a lot of like miscellaneous videos that I guess I can make that are like short videos talking about food and wardrobe and style and stuff like that. Anytime I have like an idea about a short video, I always think about how I can combine it with another short video and make like a normal length 10 to 20-minute video. Because like I said, I'm not like the latest one I did with improvement points, it was like 20 minutes, I think I'm not sure, but I think that's like that was on the verge of being a short video, but I kind of had a little bit more to say about it and it became like a normal sized video. I wasn't sure if I was just going to release that as like a 10-minute video or whatever, and it became something longer. So yeah, I might do that in the future is what I mean to say. Film, what's up? When you say you want to see more cyberpunk content, any particular topics, I really enjoy your role videos, and I don't think we have this sort of how to role play videos. Yeah. What I mean is anything that's cyberpunk, except for actual plays. I mean, actual plays are what's most popular as far as like if you want to make a cyberpunk video with you and your buddies, the best thing you can do is play the game and then record it and put it out there. That's fun. That's cool. I do it too. I'm a fan of actual plays, but I want to see other stuff. I want to see concepts of people talking about how they make their characters or how they make their settings. Anything. I mean, I don't even know what I want. I just want. I'm a fan of cyberpunk, so I love just as much as I'm a fan of Warhammer 40K or a fan of Call of Cthulhu or Lovecraftian horror stuff. I love seeing content about it. I love seeing what people have to say. I love seeing how people are into the hobby and how it propagates and how they interact with it. It's just interesting to me. Those are like the videos I watch on my phone when I'm eating a meal or when I'm driving my car. I like hearing people talk about it and stuff like that. So, those are the kinds of videos I want. As far as how to role play videos, I can dabble in that a little bit, but I don't like the idea of telling people how to play their game. That's kind of it screams of like arrogance. You know what I mean? Like, how what do I know? How who am I to tell you how to play? But I can maybe give you guys some ideas of examples of like what it's like to play. If you're like brand new to tabletop games and you're like, I don't know how to play, I don't know what to do, the best thing to do is just do whatever you think is right, because that's actually the right answer. There's no right way to role play, and you'll be adding something. I don't want to muddy your mind with preconceived notions on how you're supposed to play, because you might introduce something to the game and the style that nobody's ever seen before. And if I muddy your mind with, oh, this is what you're supposed to do and this is actually how it's supposed to be, then you're going to disregard your creativity, and that's the worst thing you can do. I love brand new players, especially if they've never played a tabletop game before. Oh my god, they're the most fun because they don't know what is supposed to be done, and they take chances and risks that other people wouldn't take because they're like, "Oh yeah, I forgot that we can just do whatever we want." And they have the most agency because there's no preconceived notion on what it's supposed to be like. So I love those kinds of players, and I would never tell them how to play. I would just tell them how the game works, and then let them decide what decisions they want to make. Tech chest hair, hell yeah, dude. AW, I like to take enemies out of the fight when they go below 50% HP. The average goon won't fight until death. Usually they're in just for the money after all. Yeah, definitely. I agree with you as far as combatants running away or giving up. I feel like that's something that we don't see enough. Uh, if if it's 5 on 5, it's a fair fight. If now it's 5 on 3, it's not a fair fight. Now the three remaining combatants have to think to themselves like, hey, can we actually make it out of this alive? And I'll even have the final battle where the final bad guy, if all his henchmen are dead and he's the only one alive, why would he just continue fighting against five healthy combatants? You know what I mean? Giving up, negotiating surrender, running away. These are all things that I feel like people need to introduce into their games. Fighting to the very bitter end should be reserved for cyber psychos and boosters on drugs and warriors, like real warriors, you know, the ones that have figured to themselves like, I'm already dead. I don't care if I die on the battlefield today. If I die, it's a glorious death. That's its own thing. But the average person is trying to survive in Cyberpunk, and the antithesis to survival is fighting an unfair fight, you know, and standing your ground against an unfair fight. So it should definitely be a big part of your repertoire as a game master, and it also gives your players that cool chance to walk up to the bad guys and tell them, you know, there is no mercy, and we take no prisoners and execute them right there. It's fun to do that too, you know. Get some fiber optic wires in your beard. Yep. Bronx Smash, good morning. You can use EL wire to make tech beard. I love how everybody's all about my tech beard all of a sudden. Is That's what's gonna happen now. Now I have to do it. I can imagine a beard of steel wire hidden in the skull as a very concealed garrote wire. Dude, that's actually pretty cool. Do you think there should be more Cyberpunk 2020 red YouTubers? Yeah, there should, but I think so. But what do I know? I mean, it's probably a niche. It's a small hobby. It's not like as widely known. Obviously, the Cyberpunk 2077 game made it more widely known, but even then, people were probably more interested in the video game than the tabletop game. We got a lot of people that came in because of the video game, and they're like, I've heard of tabletop games and I want to try it out, so why not? Should there be? Yeah, I'm biased. I would say yes. There should be hundreds. There should be thousands of them. But is that a reality? Probably not. Um, that's not a reality right now. Maybe in the future, in the dark future, it'll happen. And I'm just being selfish, and because I love Cyberpunk and I'm a fan of it, I want more YouTubers and creators out there because I personally want to see more Cyberpunk stuff. Cleston Mura F. When Cyberpunk Red was announced, I was expecting something more similar to the Witcher RPG in terms of complexity. Were you expecting this too when the game was first announced? I have not read The Witcher RPG. I've never been a big fan of the Witcher franchise. I think it's cool. I played The Witcher 3 for a little bit. I couldn't get into it. It was a cool story. I like the Netflix series. So it's not really like what I'm into. As much as I respect it, I highly respect Cody Pondsmith. I think he's a great game designer. And if there's any reason I would ever read the book or play the game, it's probably just for him. And but other than that, I had no expectations for Cyberpunk Red other than I was hoping that they modernized. They took Cyberpunk 2020, took some of the concepts that were a little too granular, took some concepts from 2020 that were a little too crunchy, and there was like main factors on why people weren't playing Cyberpunk 2020 or didn't want to dive into it. And I was hoping that they would address those, and that's exactly what they did, in my opinion. They modernized the game. They made a great base game. The core rulebook is thousands and thousands of hours of fun. And the idea that it's such a good base to start on is very exciting to me because that means that everything from then on is just going to be better. All the source books are going to add to it and make it a better game. And I'm excited to see what's on the horizon with that kind of thing. So I'm absolutely happy with Cyberpunk Red. It's my favorite game. And I know that there's some people that would rather prefer the Cyberpunk 2020 way of life and the way of things. And the good news is that game still exists, so they can play it if they want. But I am a big fan of Cyberpunk Red. Even if I don't agree with all the game design stuff, there's stuff that I change. And guess what? That's exactly what they expect of us. They expect Artel Sorian has always been the type to be like, hey, do whatever you want with the game. We're not going to tell you how to do things. Where maybe Paizo is more like, this is the skill, this is what it does, this is the difficulty rating, this is what you got to roll on a d20 to pass. If you get an 18, this is what that means. If you get a 12, this is what that means. That's Paizo's style. Okay, that's what they like to do, and I can appreciate that too. I understand sometimes that is fun, but our Telsorian style has never been like that. There's this like, here's the world, here's a general description of all the things that happen, here's some specific stuff for certain mechanics, but mostly go out on your own and do your own thing. That's what they want you to do, and I appreciate that as somebody that likes that kind of stuff. Yes, your podcasts are really nice to listen to while doing other things. Well, I'm glad you enjoy the podcast, man. I really appreciate it. Have you gone through the video ideas from me and the other patrons? I think a lot of people would really enjoy the topics we all gave. Yeah, no, I'm definitely using that list. That's where I got the improvement points idea, and I'm going through that list actually. It was a lot of great suggestions. What is one of your favorite characters you've built for yourself with Cyberpunk, Warhammer, etc.? Um, let's see. My favorite characters. That's a lot. Okay, I'll give you like two or three. Excuse me. My first Cyberpunk character that I actually played in a campaign. This was my first time, not my first time playing Cyberpunk. The first time I played, my buddy just showed me the ropes, but then he was like, "Okay, let's play a campaign." And I said, "Okay." That character, his name was Marcus. He was a corrupt cop. I love that character. I had a lot of fun with him. He never died or anything. We never really went on with that campaign, but he was my first foray into Cyberpunk, and I love that character. There's another character that I had in my D&D 5e game called Todd the Toad, and he's like an extra dimensional being that is a giant golden toad that talks like this, and he doesn't even care, and he breaks the fourth wall all the time, and he's like, "Hey guys, I'm in a game, look at me." That's the character that I made. I love that guy because he's like this all-powerful extra dimensional being that has chosen the form of a golden toad for whatever reason, and he it's unknown how powerful he is, but he like killed like an all-powerful enemy in our D&D campaign with one like fell swoop, like just ate him. And the players were like, "Oh shit." And he was like totally, whatever. He just doesn't even care. He's laid back and everything. That's another one. Another character that I made. Uh, there was a synth coke addicted character that I made. I forgot her name. Ah, shit. I forgot her name, but she was in a party booster gang in one of my original Wise Guys campaigns, and the players loved her. She's always partying. She's down for anything, And when the players call her and say like, "Hey, we got this thing that we need to do," she gets in a car and gets over there as soon as possible with her gun and her synth coke, and she's like, "What are we doing today?" That's another one of my favorite characters. I forgot her goddamn name though. I really appreciate your social anxiety podcast on tabletop cyberpunk. I feel that way pretty often in my old age. I often consider playing, but I'm often stopped by worrying about looking, feeling like an idiot. I know, man. It's weird. It's something that happened to me later on in life. I've always been outgoing. I still am, but I never, I would always tell people I have no anxiety. I have no social anxiety. I don't care what situation you put me in, I'm okay. And that's mostly true, but it's not always true. Like when you want to like I'm when I moved to the town that I moved to and I saw that there's an FLGS, I went there, Green Tower Games, and I'm like, okay, so what do I do? Like how do I become cool with this guy? I don't want him to give me a discount or anything, but it would be cool that if I could just come in and check out the place. I like all the board games and shit that's going on and have a chat with him and see what's new in the nerd world. And it's like, how do you do that? How do you make friends when you're older? You know, it's so fucking difficult to make friends when you're older. And I realized that it's all because of social anxiety. Like, we have so much more knowledge about what's going on in the world, and like kind of our innocence is lost, and we know like, oh, that guy's busy, he doesn't want to have friends, he probably thinks I'm an idiot, I sound like a loser, I sound arrogant, I sound stupid, I stumble my words, all these things. It's like the inner saboteur inside of you telling you that the imposter syndrome and all that stuff. That stuff is real. It's a part of my life every day. But the best thing about knowing a flaw about yourself is once you know that it exists, you can recognize it and you can recognize the patterns that you do with that flaw. And you're like, oh shit, I'm doing it again. You tell yourself in your mind, oh fuck, I'm doing it again. And you can kind of nip it in the bud right there, or try to adjust your life, and over time, hopefully, you manage it better. And another thing I realized is, hey, we're like, if you like Cyberpunk Red and I like Cyberpunk Red, we already have something in common more than like 90% of the people in my life. And I'm talking family members, I'm talking friends that I grew up with. Like I can hang out with my friend, have a few beers, and talk about, oh, did you see the UFC fight? Oh, what about politics or the comedian or the movies? Blah blah blah. We could talk about stuff like that. But if you like Cyberpunk Red and I like and you talk to me and you're a stranger on the street, all of a sudden it's like, oh well shit, I could talk about this for hours. And I can comfortably sit down with you, a stranger, and talk about this shit for hours, and that's something special, and that's what our hobby does. So even though we have social anxiety and we don't know if we fit in, the actual irony of it is that we do fit in because this is our hobby, this is what we love. And it's something that we share inherently within each other that we probably don't know of off the bat. So yeah, I think the idea of fighting to the end has been beaten into the heads of TTRPG players because of D&D. Yep, every enemy just fights to death, even lowly bandits, unless your DM changes it. That's rules as written. Yeah, I mean, even in D&D, I implemented that kind of rule. Like, why fight to the death? It has to be a special fighting to the death has to be like a special trait that somebody has. It's not like a trait that everybody has, in my opinion. I'm sorry if you got asked this, but how did you feel about 2077? How was it in your opinion? Had a lot of problems, but I really enjoyed the game and I beat it, and I can't wait to see what happens in the future. I think it could have been better with more time, but I don't think that most of the hate that it got was justified, to be honest with you. And I think a lot of people just wanted to hop on the hate train, and I wasn't one of them. I'm not one of those people. My expectations were low from the beginning because I didn't watch all the hype videos. As soon as I saw it winning all like hundreds of awards before the game even came out, I thought that was like the sketchiest thing I've ever heard. I've never heard of a game winning awards the amount of awards it won without it ever coming out. I was like, what the fuck? What awards, dude? The game's not even out. So as soon as I saw all that shit, I just stayed away from it. I stayed away from all the videos, the leaks, the podcasts, and even YouTube videos about it. I just stayed away from it. The game came out. I played it. I enjoyed it. It was awesome to see Night City in before my very eyes. And was it better than Grand Theft Auto and Skyrim? No. Was it awesome to see a cyberpunk world in a video game? Fuck yeah, it was amazing. I loved it. That was like the amazing aspect of it, and all the side stories and the things that you can read and stuff like that, all fun. So overall, a great experience with 2077 for me. Should we expect a 2020 source book for Red, like patching some clunky rules, remaking the net running system and lore? No, I don't think so, Cleston. That doesn't make any sense. Cyberpunk 2020 is there as is. There's no reason to touch it. There is actually errata where they did patch some things on the official R. Talsorian website. You can see it. They like changed some rules and stuff like that of like stuff that was broken. And but that's it. I mean, there's so much to deal with in 2020. There's so many source books that if Artel spent resources and time doing that, I would be upset as a fan of Cyberpunk Red because I would rather they spend their resources on this new game that they made and not on an older game that has been around for 30 years and has had its time. It wouldn't make sense. It would be like them adding new content for D&D 3.5 when we have 5e and everybody's expecting a 6th edition, you know? So yeah, that's what I think. Oh, she was awesome. We're getting Black Chrome in the next few months. Yeah, exactly. I have a character like that too, Fred the Golem, a living golem who travels the multiverse using his extra dimensional cloak that sells bags, magic bags, normal bags, also containers of all types, boxes, barrels. That's cool. I like that. I like the extra dimensional. Hey, everyone, call me when you're done with your live. It's not urgent. Okay. All right, babe. When was that? 8:41. Have I been rambling? No, we're fine. I agree on the anxiety topic. I have Asperger's and anxiety issues, so talking to people can be hard. More for first time, but I have multiple things in common. Made it really easy to talk with you, John. Yeah, same here, man. And mental health is something that I don't think it's touched on enough. I know that people try to talk about it as much as they can, but I know what it's like to be depressed, especially in gamer culture and nerd culture. Depression is a big thing, anxiety is a big thing, identity is a big thing. And these are all topics that I don't think are talked about enough, to be honest with you. I've noticed that it's harder to find games with strangers because we're strangers and everybody has social anxiety. And even though our schedules align, where our game aligns, you've sent me your character sheet and we're ready to go. When game day comes, all of a sudden you get hit with that wave of anxiety of like, oh my God, what am I doing? What if I make a fool of myself? I'm going to meet these people. They're going to think I'm stupid. And then you talk yourself out of taking the leap, and then you just perpetuate your depression of like, I don't have any friends, I'm not playing any games, and I just want to play and have a good time, but I can't because of my own anxiety. I hate myself, I'm a loser. All these things you tell yourself, I tell myself, we all tell ourselves. And that's the irony of it, is like we're sitting there with our anxiety, and we all have anxiety. It's like we all share the same negative qualities, and that's what's keeping us apart from each other when it could be bringing us closer together, because it's like we all share in the same struggle. We have something in common that our friends and family outside of this hobby don't even understand, you know? I got a call from the wife. Hold on 1 second, guys. I'm back. Sorry about that, guys. Uh I was a bit worried I was going to be weird or intrusive or talking with you outside of your Patreon games. More so for saying I'm glad to support a friend like you, but you've been very inclusive and I'm glad to know you're a cool dude. Thanks, man. I appreciate the kind words. I just put out what I want the universe to give back to me. That's all it is. And I don't have time for bullshit, drama, I really I'm not into that kind of stuff. And but I'm also not the type of person to just let something uh like an injustice or something that I perceive to be the wrong thing to just pass me by. Like I'm the worst with that. Like in public when something's happening, my I'm so hypersensitive about stuff around me that if I see a guy like struggling with something, even though I don't know who the fuck he is, I can't like I can't go on without going like, oh, it's right there. Here, hi, let me help you out. What is this? Because it's like my own kind of thing. I don't know how to deal with it, to be honest with you, but that's what I do. Like I'm hypersensitive. I'm the first guy to say something. Like I don't just let things pass by. I say something. Like I I'm like I don't like keeping my mouth closed about something that I feel really strongly about. Sometimes I try to tell myself, like, hey, John, let it go. It's okay. These people will figure it out. They don't need your help. Stop being arrogant and thinking that people need your help. Like, who are you to help these people? Like, they can figure it out on their own. But then other times the feeling is so strong that I'm like, no, man, I got to do something. Like, I have to do something. I can't just sit around. But basically, this is a long roundabout way of saying that I know what it's like to have anxiety, and I know what it's like to want to play and have a good time and to escape from the real world and into your hobby. So that's why I'm inclusive with everybody and I let everybody in because I know that I know what it's like to feel the way that they feel partially. You know, obviously there's some mental issues and anxiety issues that I don't have that other people have, some traits and stuff like that. But I feel like on the whole, um, at least I can understand when somebody has something hindering them from happiness. That's what I should say. Whatever's hindering them from happiness, I understand that because I've been there. So if there's anything I can do to help, I try. And sometimes just one reassurance is enough to let people know that like, hey, you belong. That's one of the things that I always tell people when they join our Discord community or they join our games or whatever. I tell them like, hey, dude, you belong. This is a place where you belong. And sometimes I feel like it's important to say those things, just like it's important to tell someone you love them. If you do love them, it's important to tell somebody that you belong because that is enough for them to like switch something in their brain where they're like, oh, go away, imposter syndrome, go away, anxiety. You're just the devil on my shoulder because I'm looking at somebody here that's telling me that this is exactly where I'm supposed to be. And that's what our hobbies should always be about. It's a place where everybody belongs, no matter what age or gender or whatever. Cyberpunk 2077, in my opinion, has the most beautiful open world of any game, and if you have the PC hardware to see it in all its glory, it's a visual treat. Yeah, there's no doubt about that. Mental health is never talked or discussed in modern day issues or daily life. Especially, I feel like with, I think more now, but with men, it's like something that, at least for me culturally growing up, it's something that you push down and you put away. And it's like you put it away in your body and you don't talk about it. And your feelings should be pushed down. And it's a sign of weakness to talk about those kinds of things. But in actuality, I think it's a sign of weakness to be afraid to talk about those things. To be afraid to talk about anything is a sign of weakness. You know what I mean? Uh, it, just because you're being open about your emotions and your mental health and stuff like that, that doesn't show that you're weak. It actually shows that you're brave enough to talk about something uncomfortable, something that deeply affects you. That shows more bravery than weakness to me. That's somebody that's like, damn, look how cool it is that this person is open about their stuff. Hold on one second. Got another call from the wife. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. We're getting our wife is trying to ask me questions in chat. It's about our COVID vaccine that we're getting. I know that have constant depression, PTSD, anxiety, ADHD, and always felt like I was never accepted. Yeah, I know, man. Yeah, but you belong to. I put out what I want the universe to give back to me. How do I put out chicken tendies? Yeah, that's why I think I got so much into gaming and such. It was an escape from the hardness of daily life. Luckily, my life's grown so much more positive, but that now I'm stuck in gaming addiction. It's a good addiction to have, man. Ask my wife that has no idea about any of this hobby stuff, like gaming and hobbying and stuff like that. All she knows is I'm not going out drinking till 2 a.m. with my buddies, partying, doing coke, and stepping out on my family. Instead, I work my ass off. I come home, and me and my friends, at worst, we sit at a table, at a coffee table, or a dining room table, or a hobby table, and we roll dice and pretend to be other people. I mean, that's like the worst thing that I do compared to the things that I possibly could be doing. It's a very also, let me tell you guys about this. Like, I'm now a father. I'm old enough that I'm comfortable with myself. I know who I am. I understand my identity. That's something that as a young man I did not understand. I didn't have direction in my life. I was depressed. I was that typical gaming guy. I was even an incel before incel was a thing back in the day when I was in high school and stuff like that. And basically, once I've finally been comfortable with myself and found the things that I like and I'm confident with, I'm actually happy now. I have things that make me happy, and it's like it's the most liberating thing to be happy. And on the flip side, I see someone like I'm not going to name who, but there's someone that I know that I see them, they don't have any hobbies, they don't have any friends, and they're codependent on specific people to find happiness, and they don't have a way for themselves to find happiness. They don't have something like they might look at me painting my miniature models, rolling dice and pretending to be someone and think that it's so weird and maybe dumb or stupid or whatever they perceive it to be. But in actuality, they could learn so much from me. They could learn that, hey, if you had a hobby, you had something that you liked, something that you were passionate about, it can give you purpose, it can give you identity, and it can break up the monotony of life to give you balance. You know, it can't be all work. You got to have a little bit of play. It can't be all play. You got to put in a little bit of work. And I feel like that person that I'm talking about specifically, they would greatly benefit from any kind of hobby, dude. Whatever it is, it doesn't have to be the same hobby as mine. Pick something, pick something you're passionate about, do something. And the fact that we have what we have with our hobbies is a big deal. And I'm very grateful that we have it because it's given me a better quality of life. And I've made some cool friends along the way. I grew up playing sports and hunting, and that was my way of staying away from drugs and gangs. In my community, showing any emotion, even if you say your dad just died, is looked down on. Yeah. That's. I grew up in Armenian culture. Armenian culture is a very macho culture. It's a very, toxic masculinity, if you want to call it. I think there's benefits to being like a manly man, but there's also downfalls to it, and it perpetuates like negative stereotypes about men and stuff like that. And some of it is hiding your emotions, not talking about things that are important, not facing those kinds of things where and putting on this persona that like you're a man, but on the inside you have so many deep dark things that you just haven't dealt with, and that shit usually ends up poisoning you because you keep that poison inside of you. And that's stuff that I had to learn on my own throughout life, and having stuff like hobbies and whatever else, friendships and stuff like that, where I was able to get out of it, get out of all the negative stuff that comes with that kind of culture. And then the good news is I got to keep the good things. So you get to keep the good things, but you get rid of the bad things and you get this healthy balance. Sorry for ranting, but having community that is this accepting is amazing to me. Me too, Steven. You don't have to apologize. Yo, what's happening, Don Albiston? Nice to see you. I'm doing well. We were supposed to talk about Cyberpunk, but we're getting existential here, which is fine. I love it. I love talking about this kind of stuff. My fiance taught me it's okay to cry, and that meant a lot having grown up being told to just man up. Yeah. Crying is a normal bodily function. It happens because of electrical impulses in our brain tell us to do it. And it happens because of life experience. So to deny yourself of that experience is to deny yourself of what makes you a human being. And that's the if you deny yourself of being a human being, you're just going to keep going into that dark place, and the longer you're in that dark place, the harder it is to get out. Congratulations, that's awesome getting your vaccine. Yep. I've even though I already had COVID, I had it last year in September. They're saying we should get the vaccine. So whatever, put the microchip in me and all that. There's a great quote from Beta Ray Bill from Marvel Comics. If there's nothing but what we make in this world, then let us make good. Man, Beta Ray Bill's sick. It's a really cool storyline. And that's a great quote. We're on this planet, might as well do it well. It's an addiction you can make money from. Exactly. She enables my dice goblin addiction help. Dude, tell me about it. I'm in the UK and most of the gigs I run or play in are in the US. Yeah, thank God for virtual tabletops and communities, or else I wouldn't have any friends to play with. By the way, everyone smash that like button like Adam Smasher, please. Thanks, Bronx. I appreciate it. I thought Adam Smasher wasn't Smash when I first read that. That's a crazy Smash Brothers thing. Hey, me and a few people I know have heard apparently there's beef with you and Rob Mulligan. The fuck is the deal with that? Nah, there's no beef with Rob. There's just evidence of him bullying other creators. It just piled up, and it got to the point where in our personal Discord community, we couldn't allow him to advertise and be a part of it because of the evidence that piled up with whatever he's been doing. So as much as he makes amazing content and he has a great community with great people in it, we have nothing against anybody in that community because guess what? There's only one Cyberpunk Red community. There is no division. There isn't Rob's community and my community. It's all one community. We just had evidence that had come to us be from multiple sources that he was bullying people, and and he has like unethical business practices that we don't agree with, and that's it. There's no beef. I even messaged him a while ago telling him like I don't want any beef, and then obviously after we banned him, we had a little bit of a conversation too. That was not really a friendly one, but that's it. That's the extent of it. There's nothing else after that. And yeah, that's it. That's the end of it. I encourage everybody to be a part of whatever community makes them happy. I would never tell anybody not to be a part of his community. I just personally can't support him from the evidence that I saw, and I personally can't endorse anything that he does because of what I saw. And that's it. Period. What's up, Eric R? How you doing? Good to see you. Good seeing you too, man. I want to get into the hobby of making dice. If I do, I'm gonna send you a set. Awesome, dude. I'm totally down with that. Yeah, that's totally fair. Glad there's no animosity or bad blood. Not on my part. I mean, if it's coming from anywhere, maybe it would come from there. But I haven't received any like nasty messages or anything like that. I think we're just kind of doing our own thing. But that's it. That's pretty much it. Wood, metal, plastic, or resin? Oh, or it's gonna be resin. Okay. Yeah, I never got into the dice making thing or having and collecting cool dice. I always felt like dice were like a tool. As long as it works, that's all that matters to me. I did buy one set of nice dice because it looked cool, and I bought it from my FLGS just because I wanted to support him. And I saw him post about it on Instagram, so I was like, yeah, let me go check it out, and I bought a set. But that was it. I mean, other than that, I got my pound of dice, and that's it. I'm a dice goblin. Yeah, some people are like obsessed with it, and I get it. Have fun, do your thing. I'm definitely not the type of person that likes alternative dice. Like I've seen some fucking wacky dice out there, like that. Just like how is this supposed to work? I don't get it. It's like what is this shape? It looks like a boomerang, and it's supposed to be a D4. Like what is this shit? I'm not a fan of that. I know some people like that kind of alternative dice stuff, but like I said, it's a tool. I want it. It needs to be legible. It needs to be easy to use, and it just needs to fucking do what it's supposed to do. All right, that's it. If like I gotta fucking have an app or and then I throw it and then I need a magnifying glass to see if I got a 6 or a 3. The worst is when they put a symbol on the 6 and the 1 of a d6. Like, don't put a symbol on one of them, so I know the symbol is the thing. But putting 2, 3, 4 symbols, like everything's a symbol. One has letters, one has pips. I mean, come on, dude. What are we doing here? You know? I mean, that's just my personal opinion, but I just want the dice to do what it's supposed to do. Math rocks, go clicky clack. Quick DM question, Chungustonian. If I am going to DM a solo player campaign, do you feel multi-classing them would be too OP, or is giving them a team a better option? I don't think there's anything you can do to make it overpowered, because this is a one-on-one campaign, and if your one player wants to be overpowered, then who cares? It's just them. Let them have their fun. Throw your challenges at them. Personally, in my one-on-one campaign that I have with my buddy, we played just him with a few little allies here and there that helped him out. But then he told me personally, he's like, John, I thought that I could do this on my own. Hold on one second. My sister-in-law just texted me. December 12, 13, 1986. Oops. There we go. Sorry. In our one-on-one campaign, he decided, I think I need a team. I need people. I need a net runner. I needed this. I needed that. So I designed part of our campaign where he meets these people, and I made them interesting characters. And it wasn't just like, hi, how are you, let's shake hands and now we're a family. It's like, yeah, I heard a rumor that there's this guy that does this thing, but he's retired and no one can find him. So now my player's like on this mission to go find this guy. He finds the guy, saves him from certain death, and the guy's like, who the fuck are you and why did you just save my life, and thank you, by the way. And then my player can be like, I'm so and so, and I got a job for you, and this is what it pays. Now there's like more interest to it, like they have a history. So I introduced that kind of stuff into our campaign, and he made like a cool team, and he rolls for all the people in his team, and I roll for all the people that go against them. So that's how I've been doing it in my one-on-one. I have awesome steel dice with digital styled numbers for Cyberpunk, as long as it's legible, in my opinion. How do I make my game more brutal, Dysentery? It just depends what. It's kind of that's an open-ended question. It depends how brutal you want to go. There's levels of brutal. There's kill your TPK, kill the entire party in one combat encounter, brutal. And then there's the gradual brutal that I think is a little more balanced, where you sprinkle in brutal stuff here and there. Look at special ammo, look at special grenades, look at the net running rules, see how you can finagle with that. Look at like hazards and traps, they're in the game too. Yeah. Look at assault rifles, look at exotic weapons. And just remember, if you give a bad guy an exotic weapon, that means your players that kill them will also get that exotic weapon, unless something happens to it. And then you can't keep doing that all the time. You can't be like, oh yeah, the rocket launcher, it broke, you know. Oh yeah, this is the third time you saw a rocket launcher. This one also broke. Whoops. It happens. Combat. What can you do? You can't keep doing that either, so you got to kind of balance that out. Oh, melee maybe, sharp pointy things, lots of blood. Melee is yeah, melee is a big one. I had an idea for a bozo cannon, which they load people into and fires them out in bits. That's fun. It's fun when they do like sadistic stuff. Introducing them to the art of gun jousting. That sounds amazing. I just imagine people in vehicles like ramming into each other and then shooting each other or something. John, the Cyberpunk life coach. LOL. Love your channel. Love your channel too. Roland, even though you don't have a channel. I love you too, man. Thank you. Thank you for the support. I appreciate it. I'm glad to be of help. I'm glad to be a part of this amazing community. And life coaching, life coach. That's a funny term. But yeah, just give the enemy single shot, non refillable rocket launchers. Yeah, like Panzerfausts, right? Oh my God, Nihilus. Are you serious, dude? You don't have to do that, man. $50 from Nihilus. Thank you so much for your content and feedback session. That was immensely helpful, and I hope this keeps you motivated to keep cranking out quality Cyberpunk Red content. Gotta bounce. Cheers, brother. Nihilus, I really appreciate the support, man. You did not have to do that. And you are one of my biggest supporters. And I'm more than happy to help you in anything that you need. All you got to do is ask, and I'm there, man. And Jesus Christ, man, I appreciate it, dude. Holy shit. Thank you so much, man. Seriously, thank you. My family and I greatly, greatly appreciate everything you do. That's it, you know. Wow, Nifty, your YouTube family loves you, John John. You guys are awesome, man. I love this community. I love spreading the positivity and keeping it going, you know what I mean? And even though there's some road bumps along the way and things happen, it's not going to stop the positivity. So, and hat is awesome. And that is, or in Woot and hat is awesome. I think that I meant that. But yeah, thank you so much, Nihilus. Have a wonderful day, dude. We'll talk soon. I'll see you on Thursday for our Patreon game. Thank you so much for the support, man. You're the shit, dude. Seriously. You're all the shit. You're all awesome. I really appreciate all of you. Every time you guys leave a positive comment, the likes, I mean, all that stuff that you guys do, it means a lot to me. It's kept me going from the beginning. I've gotten nothing but positivity since the beginning of my channel, since the beginning of all the cyberpunk stuff I've been doing. It's always been positivity and gratefulness, and I got to keep that going, you know. And Artel Saurian is a company that is all about that too, and that's something. Let me tell you guys, $5 from Twiggy. It's not 50, but here's a coffee. I wish I could support more, but trying to save up to bring my fiance home from Wales. Thanks for being awesome, Twiggy. You don't have to give me any money, man. I really appreciate you, and I appreciate the tip. And I hope that your fiance gets here soon, safely. And I really appreciate your help, man. Thank you so much. Thank you. Seriously. You're awesome, dude. Um, so what was I saying? I'm just overwhelmed by all this positivity. Oh yeah, so with Artel Saurian, basically when I first decided to start doing my channel and all this whole cyberpunk content stuff, I got into the universe, and believe it or not, I didn't know a lot about Artel Saurian. All I knew is Cyberpunk 2020 is my first RPG. It was one of my favorite games of all time, and I had a blast playing it. And there wasn't enough content out there. You look sexy, Jimmy. There wasn't enough content out there for the game, and I wanted to remedy that. I was like, why don't I do it? I think I can do it. And throughout the process, Artel Saurian has always been supportive. They let me promote my videos on their Discord. They were actually encouraging it. They retweeted my stuff. They put me in the goddamn book of my favorite game. And anytime I need something, I just email them and boom, we get it done because they are that kind of people. On top of that, every person that I've ever talked to that's worked for Artel Saurian, which I mean, Artel Saurian wrote them a check, or oh my God, Jimmy, you son of a bitch, dude. Oh, I love you. God damn it, Jimmy. I miss you, man. Thank you so much from Jimmy. That is Sam Ectoplasm from the Wise Guys. I love you too, buddy. I seriously do, man. You're awesome, man. Thank you so much for the support and being a wise guy. You're always gonna be a wise guy, and no one can ever take that from you. And you'll always be my friend, buddy. Yeah, thank you so much. But yeah, every single person I ever talked to that worked with Artel Saurian only had like not even just like, oh yeah, they were cool. They're not even the whole like, yeah, they were great. No, it was like They were amazing to work with. They're awesome. I love them. I would love to work with them again. Like the most highest praises that there could be. And people throughout the industry have the same kind of praises for Mike and his team. Every single person I've worked with in Artelsorian or interacted with, same experience. Ultimate positive experience, all the way to the top level, highest part of the spectrum. So if I want to be a part of this community and I want to make Cyberpunk Red content, I hold myself to that same standard. And I have to make sure that we keep the positivity and inclusion and like truly be positive. Not just say that we want to help people, but actually do it for real, man. And talk about topics like mental health, anxiety, and actually help people find games, actually help content creators promote their work so we get more people out there. And that's how you make actual change and how you make a positive community, because I've seen negative communities out there. I told you guys I'm a fan of Warhammer. I can point to you to dozens of toxic Warhammer communities, and I would never want to be a part of that same kind of thing with Cyberpunk. There's really good Warhammer communities too, by the way. It's not all toxic. There's good normal people out there, but there's enough toxicity out there in that community, in video game communities, with all the CDPR hate too. There's enough negativity out there even for Cyberpunk, but I'm gonna have nothing to do with it. I don't want to be a part of it, and I want to be the place that people can be like, well, even if I have a negative experience in this community, at least I know I can go to this Discord or this part of the Cyberpunk Red community, and have a positive experience. And that's my ultimate goal with being like a community leader or whatever you want to call it. I almost feel as the video game felt limiting to what the world was like, and your channel had fed helped me see there's many more stories and ways to interact with cyberpunk lore. Yeah, that's just one group's perspective on what cyberpunk is. And they that's the beauty of role-playing games is everybody can make their own world. So it's their own way and their own imagination of what cyberpunk is like. Those those guys in Poland played Cyberpunk 2020 and they have their own experience and memories with it. I played 2020. I have my own experiences and memories with it. Excuse me. So Cyberpunk 2077 is their own imagination of it. It's not the end all be all. It's not everything. Okay. And believe it or not, even Artel Sorian's core rulebook of the world building and stuff like that, that's not the end all be all. You can take out Johnny Silverhand and Arasaka and Militech, put your own corporations and good guys and bad guys into it. They even encourage it. They said, hey, here's our interpretation of what our world is, but do whatever the hell you want. And that's what I love about it. Is it doesn't matter what anybody does, like everybody does it their own way, everybody has fun their own way, and there's the possibilities are endless. That's what I love. From a player standpoint, I got to say that John was the first DM I had in a long time that ran games I emotionally invested in. Man, that's a great feeling for me too, Jimmy, to be able to give you that experience, because I feel the same way. I would like propose really deep, thought-provoking ideas, and then I would see you guys interact with it and actually feel invested and connected to it, and that's like my own personal reward too. So that means a lot to me too. This got me in my feels. I know this chat is like emotional today, huh? We're so emotional today with our chat. CDPR could have desperately needed our feedback on how to make the world feel more real to the players. Yeah, but you know what? Sometimes when you're being creative, having more chefs in the kitchen is not always a good idea. Having all these people tell you their opinions sometimes is a good idea, but other times it can muddy your creativity. So I think that they should have actually just went with their own gut and their own story, and which is what they did. And I think, I don't think that any of us disagree for the most part. but that the story is a good idea. Like it was a good story. It was fun. It was heartfelt when Jackie died. It was heartfelt at the end with Johnny making his redemption and stuff like that. And just to see like all the stuff that Johnny left behind and being in the future, a man out of time, and you being a part of it, and like you guys are connected in like a symbiosis, all that stuff is a really good, amazing, awesome story. And and but as far as like the game mechanics stuff of it that makes it a video game, that's the only things that had issues in my opinion, which is kind of negligible to most people. You know what I mean? As long as it was a good experience and a good story, who cares if you have to reload just to get past the bug? You know, I used to be a video game tester, so I'm used to bugs and things breaking, and I don't care. And the whole argument that like games used to be done when they came out and there was no bugs, and now we've just accepted that as a way of life. Everybody needs to relax, all right? We got this new technology, microchips, and things are so different than the Super Nintendo era and the PlayStation era. Things are on a fucking different scale now, all right? Things are it's AAA games, millions of dollars. There's corporations involved now, and it's a whole new animal. So to look at it with rose tinted glasses is, I feel like you're doing a disservice to it. Do you think there's a market for alternative timelines? I've spent a few weeks making one set in our time where America never collapsed and the Chinese bubble never popped. Yeah, I think there is a market for it within your game, personally, with your buddies. That's the best place to run that kind of shit. So if you have any ideas about doing stuff like that, I say do it, and do it with your buddies. As far as it being official lore and stuff like that, I wouldn't hold my breath on it. RTG has their own direction that they want to go in with the story, and I think they're entitled to that as the creators of the game. Anything else is up to us to do, whether we want to do it or not. And everybody's point is valid on that subject. I'm hoping I can get the same connection with our Patreon game. I'm so excited and hyped to play. Wish we could play more. I'm using the same formula, so hopefully it works out. We'll see how it goes. Very true, John. If anything, they didn't have enough chefs in the kitchen, but too many managers telling the chefs how to cook. Yeah, that's a great analogy. I think that's exactly what it was. Is people telling them like it needs more salt, or instead of steak, you should do shrimp, like totally changing the entire recipe and stuff like that. And then when the food wasn't fully cooked, they said you got to serve this, and they're like, we can't serve this. It's not cooked. People are gonna get sick. They're not gonna like it. And they said, no, no, it's good enough. Send it out. We have a deadline to meet. We have shareholders. They're all waiting for the game to release. We got to cash in. By the way, as far as I know, I think Cyberpunk 2077 monetarily was a success. I think it made more money than they put in. So I think they actually made money with it. So for us to like say it was a flop, I don't think maybe a flop in the zeitgeist, but in as far as profitability, I think it did exactly what it was supposed to do. And all those shareholders that would never actually play the game, that would have never played a video game, and they just looking at the money, they're like, all right, it worked out. So I guess what we did was a good idea. Why isn't there a chef's kiss emoji? How do I keep motivation to keep a certain campaign going? My players never get to assault rifle because of a new campaign idea. I don't know, man. I let my players have assault rifles from character creation because if they have assault rifles, the bad guys have assault rifles. So it all works out at the end. Um, Motivation, you gotta talk to your players and see what they want to do. You gotta look at their life path and see what's important to them, and you gotta ask your players like, what do you like? See, when you make a movie or a TV show or anything like that, you write a script and you make the movie that you want to make, and you hope that people connect with it. But the cool thing about tabletop role playing games is you write the story, you put it together, and you can actually ask the audience that is interacting with it, hey, do you like this? And if they say like, oh, I wish this would change or that would change, or I really want to explore this thing about my character, you can actually do that. You can listen to them and do that and listen to their feedback. When other times, if everybody listened, if Marvel and Disney listened to what people thought about the Avengers, and like had a Dropbox of suggestions and like read everything, they would never make a movie. They would just sit there with contradicting ideas all day. It wouldn't make sense for them to take all these suggestions seriously. But if it's just you and your four players taking feedback from those four players that are heavily invested in the story is a lot more important and is actually a valuable resource that you should be using. Jimmy says 2077 was amazing in my honest opinion. It gives amazing closure for established lore characters, and V quickly becomes a minnow in a Shark Tank real quick. Yeah, I agree. I loved it. Rest in peace, Jackie. Never forgotten. Long live Cars Cyberpunk. What's up, Brutal? How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Long live the emotional Cyberpunk in a car chats. Jimmy, I cried when Jackie died. I would have ugly cried if we had the montage time with him as a playable experience, though. Yeah, I feel like I was connected to Jackie, but I agree with you. That whole montage of them doing things together, I was okay with it, but it would have been fun to like actually do missions together. I don't know. Maybe it would have been a little bit repetitive because then you did do missions together after that. I don't know. Maybe the idea was to let you guys do that, but they just didn't have time. How do I get my players to get more engaged with my games? I make props, letters, write deep lore and story, try to run my games the best I can, but have my players seem like they aren't interested, and the other half never take notes or anything. Hmm. Really? Is that what happens? Uh, this is the thing about what I think you're suffering with, Twiggy, is over preparation. What you're doing is you're doing too much. You need to instead focus on the things that you know that your characters will your players will connect to. And the only way you can know that they're going to connect to something is by asking them. Ask them what's important to your character. What is your character's dreams and goals? The same things you would ask somebody like one of your friends that like you feel has no direction in their life. You would ask them these same types of questions like what do you want to do? What is this world to you? How do you feel about Arasaka? How do you feel about your fellow teammates in your group? How do you feel about your family and your future? All these things are questions that you should be asking your players to see what interests them. So if they tell you like I know you play D&D, so like let's say they're a bard, you say, why did you become a bard in the first place? What is it about being a bard that's important to you? What's the end game for being a bard? What are you supposed to do at the end? Like let's say this game is over, we get to level 20. What do you see yourself being? And what's important to you? Is it the instrument, or is the instrument just the tool and it's actually the stories that you tell that's important? And these questions, once they answer them, you'll know like, okay, they don't give a shit about their instrument. They actually give a shit about telling good stories and leaving a good legacy. Okay, I'm gonna make sure that somebody in the story in the campaign begs them to tell a good story and tells them the last dying wish of the last warrior, like the last samurai. Imagine the last samurai or the equivalent going up to this bard and telling them, before I die, these are my scrolls, this is my personal diary, and these are the things that I went through. Please tell this story for me. And there's some more scrolls and more of my personal diary in that castle over there, but I can't go there because I'm about to die and it's heavily guarded. And if you could just please make sure that my story is told, I would be greatly honored and in debt to you. And then they die. So now your bard has this new purpose in life to go and tell this story. And by the way, they told you that it's important to them that they tell a good story. That's when they got into being a bard is all about. So, do you want to ask your players those kinds of questions? You want to find out what's interesting to them. And sometimes you don't want to be too specific on your questions because it gives away your intentions. You want to instead say like, how did you grow up? And if they tell you like, oh, I grew up to a single father who was a solo, and he was in and out of wars, and I barely got to see him. Okay. So obviously there's unfinished business between them and their father. There's a father-son relationship that didn't blossom, that didn't happen because of the dark future and the world that they live in. So what are you going to do? You're going to put them in a uncomfortable situation where they have to be with each other. They're in a war together, they're in a mission together, and that's when they interact with each other and they're forced to be with each other. Like for example, they have to be in the same car together, they have to be together for certain things, or one of them gets kidnapped and the other one rescues them, and now they're interacting with each other in ways that they normally would not have interacted with each other. So you force them into those situations because you might think like, oh, I'm railroading them, but really you're just giving them the thing that they want. You're the you're not taking away player agency if their player agency is that they just want to do things that their character is interested in. So just give them something that their character is interested in. That's my idea. Oh, really? Was a guy wanting $200? Oh, okay. Sorry, my bad. Stupid question, but have you asked them what makes them interested? Yeah, that's what I was saying. Bronx insult cried when V looked over and said, "See you in the major leagues, Jack." Ugh, right in the feels. I try to integrate as much of their backstory and character info, but the games as I can. But the players never take notes, always forget game info. Do not expect your players to take notes. Do not expect your players to read anything. As soon as you let go of, I think you're calling me on Discord, Twiggy, by the way. Oh, I missed that guy. It's all right, guys. Don't worry about it. I'll put him in a timeout. There you go. I banned him. Sorry. I've been rambling and I didn't see that stuff. I took care of him. Whatever. What can you do, man? It's a public forum. People are gonna come here and say stupid shit. Anyway, yeah, you got to not expect your players to take notes or anything. You just got to expect them to show up and be on time and play the game and take the game seriously enough that they're actually playing the game and not like doing side conversations and disrespecting people's time. That's something I don't tolerate. But we live busy lives, and even though we're passionate about our own game, it doesn't mean that they're passionate about the lore and the setting and the backstory and all that. They just want to come and play. That's what's fun to them. So you should probably just lower your expectations when it comes to stuff like that, and expect them not to remember things, expect them not to care about certain things. Excuse me. And just do your own thing. You know what I mean? Just make sure you provide the game, and the only expectations you have is that they should be respectful of your time and the other player's time. And that's pretty much it. I love the background generation rules in red to make players more invested. So your great love died in a car accident. Guess who walks by on the sidewalk? Stuff like this. Exactly, AW, exactly. Maybe your party is more interested in combat instead of telling a good story. Yep, that's true. That's why I think, because they always get excited to fight. Yeah, that's good too. But then you also need to make sure you also need to make sure that combat, while it's important, that it has a meaning to it. So like them killing someone isn't just for the XP, even though D&D kind of perpetuates that stereotype of like go to a place, kill everybody, get their shit, sell it, gain XP, become stronger. That's what D&D is all about. You can still add a little bit of flavor to it and make it a purpose for the combat. And like in Cyberpunk, if somebody walks up to your crew and starts bad mouthing them and talking shit, the reason you guys got into combat is because they were the aggressor, not your players. Or, you see somebody and they have slaves with them. Remember, this is the dark future, and those kind of themes can apply in your game. You see somebody, he's a booster, you're in a place and he has slaves with them, and you're like, okay, you need to free those slaves. And he says, like, no, fuck off. Okay, now the combat encounter that you guys had was for a reason. It was to free those slaves. It wasn't just to gain XP and gain loot. It was to do something that your character think was morally correct, or to rescue someone that's kidnapped, kill everybody, rescue the person that's kidnapped. Epic moments on the basis of your combat. John Bandit. Yeah, my bad, guys. I've been rambling and I didn't see. Who's the second person that I'm supposed to ban? You know what, Twiggy? Let me make you a moderator. I made you a moderator. I'm going to make Jimmy a moderator. Steven Odinson, I'm making you a moderator too. Yeah, you guys should be able to ban somebody for doing that. It's all good. No, I appreciate it. A live res from John. Nice. Yeah, I de-res that loser. I think I'm more of an RP lore and story DM, and my players are more combat-oriented players. Yeah, that's the other thing. You got to make sure that you have fun with it too. But I like balance. I like having combat, and I like having role play. Like, if our session didn't have had more combat than role play, I don't like it. If it has more role play than combat, I don't like it. If it has no combat, I don't like it. If it has no role play, I don't like it. So I have to make sure there's a healthy balance of the two. And you know, that's a little bit hard to do in 2 hours, but I somehow manage it. So yeah, that is what it is. I still both hate and love that plot twist you hit me with Patrick. That's the best thing when you hate and love it. What time period is your campaign? That means you did it. Blah blah blah. No, no worries for calling, dude. I appreciate it. Do you ever use time limits, or are they cheap? Like, we have 2 hours to finish this climactic battle before the warehouse explodes. No, I don't like doing time limits. It forces your players to play a specific way because you're like, we have to play this way. I let my players explore whatever ideas they want and do whatever the fuck they want because that's how they have fun. I'm not going to let time constraints stop us from exploring whatever we need to explore. Once our session is over, I might go back to my notes and adjust things. So when we come back next time, I fast forwarded certain things, or I might make decisions on the fly to fast forward things. But this is Sam's Cyberpunk stream now. You got it, Jimmy. But yeah, I'm not gonna force my players to speed up the process or anything. I never force my players to bite on any plot hooks either or anything like that as well, because I'm not into that kind of thing. I like my players making all the decisions. Really enjoyed the last video with James Hutt. It's amazing how every single granular thing has a purpose and reason and wasn't just put in the book just because. Also, thanks for asking the body 15 question. No problem, CJ. I'm glad that you enjoyed the video. And yeah, I really enjoyed it as well. And yeah, there's so many. I'm losing my voice. Is there water here? Yeah. Jesus Christ. Yeah, there's so many aspects in the book and in the game that I still haven't completely explored. I mean, there's so much of it to explore. So, I'm dabbling here and there throughout my games with little things. So, yeah, it's great to have James on to talk about everything that we can. I love the community questions thing that we got going on with the economy and combat. I'm sure we'll do more stuff. I mean, if there's anything else you guys think that the community has a lot of questions about, James doesn't shy away from it. And, he's more than willing to answer your questions. So I'd love to do it again. I knew there was a way. Oh, random car water. Exactly. It was unopened, okay? So, random car water. I'm kind of a savage. One time I ate Panda Express that was sitting on my kitchen counter for a week. It wasn't in the fridge, and I just ate it like that, warm. Nothing happened to me. My wife thought I was crazy. I guess I'm kind of a savage. I'm just glad you talked about ramming because the whole you only take whiplash once wasn't in the book. Yeah, it was one of those like read between the lines kind of thing. Yeah. John, no, why? Ew. I'm telling you, man, I got an iron gut. I'm really wanting some Panda Express right now. I could literally eat it every day, I think. There's a specific meal that I get from Panda Express. It's 650 calories. And since I'm on this diet right now, uh, it's perfect because I'm counting my calories and stuff. I have random soda in my car. See, soda's a little bit tough because then it's warm, and warm soda is not something I'm into. So yeah, I don't know about that. But yeah, you got to take the $100 you got from us and treat the lady and kid to dinner. I will. I definitely will. 100%. It'll it'll probably just go back to the channel. Any money that I've made from my YouTube and Patreon has been focused back into the channel, because I want to help it grow. I want to help production quality and stuff like that. How many calories you intake? Oh, well, I have my phone. I'm using this app called MyFitnessPal, where you can log your calories, and basically, I think I think 1,800 is how much I'm supposed to have in a day if I want to lose weight. So I have to have less than 1,800 calories a day to lose weight. So if I eat that Panda Express at 650, that leaves me 1,200 calories. I only eat two meals. All I have is coffee in the morning. Then I have lunch at 10:30, 11. Then I have dinner at like 4 or 5 o'clock. Then I might snack a little bit, but as long as I log everything and it's under 1,800 calories, I lose weight. I've already lost 13 pounds, so yeah, that's it. Ah, bean water, exactly. Coffee is my breakfast. That's it. So yeah, I'm trying to. I was at 200. I'm at 187, 189, like around that area. I want to get to 180. I actually want to get to 179 because I want to go a little bit under 180 to be like I'm not at 180, I'm under 180. So I want to go a little bit under 180, and then we'll see how I look. I'm gonna start working out again, so you might see John the Swole in a little bit. Yeah. As I get older, my son is young. He has a shitload of energy. I got to keep up with him. I don't want to let go, and I don't want to become unhealthy for the sake of my son and my family. So my wife and I are both taking care of ourselves in that department now. And that's it. It's all about discipline. I eat like 4 meals a day trying to work on this dad bod. Man, that's how I got to 200. I was eating fucking I had no limit to whatever. If I just wanted it, I would eat it. I didn't care about anything. So I got to be careful, man. Just so many things. Like I would just like if I were to get fast food, I would just get a meal, large soda, large fries. So fact, I've been bulking for 7 years. Hell yeah, dude. Now it's just gonna be a little bit of cutting down from the bulk. I still have a major dad bod. All right, I still have the gut, but the gut has went from like male pregnancy to a little bit more of just like a little bit of a dad bod. So yeah, it's all good. Here we go. Maxfield Calloway says, personally, don't like giving XP to players just for killing someone. I think they should be able to gain XP cover over coming over a challenge. Doesn't mean I don't give XP in combat, but not only for that. Yeah, the XP or improvement points that I give people, as you've probably seen in my video, has nothing to do with combat or positive rolls or negative rolls. It has everything to do with how they interact with the world, how they're creative, how they move the story along, and that's it. I mean, that's all I give a shit about. If they do cool things, and even if the cool things fail, as long failure is still a part of your story, you know. So yeah, I don't work out. I just get tattoos. I always remember that you have the body of a god, Buddha. That's it. Also, once you get swole, you can replace your Steam pick with you, dude. I'll never be at that level of Husamar Paul Harris. If you guys want to check him out, Husamar is spelled Rousimare. I think Rusamar. He's a Brazilian MMA guy. he did not get that way naturally, Twiggy. All right, he's on all the testosterone, on all the hormones, and God bless him and his giant fucking chest. And by the way, all those WWE wrestlers, same thing. You don't get a big head like Triple H's head by protein shakes. All right, all right, dudes. I think that's enough for today. We did an hour 40 minutes. We covered a lot of deep topics. I mean, we got super fucking emotional. And we talked about anxiety. We got a troll in here that had to say the things they had to say. I hope their life is fulfilling. And yeah, I mean, I think we covered a multitude of topics. I seriously appreciate all of you, Nihilus, Twiggy, Jimmy. Thank you guys so much for your donations. I wish you guys the best. I seriously appreciate you all. I appreciate all of my supporters, all of you that like and comment and watch my videos and share my videos and follow me on social media and listen to my podcast and are part of the Patreon. I love you guys. Thank you so much for keeping me going, putting a smile on my face every week. And I got more Cyberpunk for you. It's coming. The train has not stopped. It has left the station. There are no end in the tracks. And we are going on and on and on, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much. We'll see you guys next Monday. You know what? Actually, we'll see about next Monday. It might be Tuesday again next week. It just depends. But we'll see you guys next week, all right? Stay Nova. Love you, Chumbas. We'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye.